Hello everyone, welcome to our video 7B. Where were your sneakers made? So as you can notice from the title, we're going to be talking about passive voice in the past tense. Our objectives for this lesson, number 1, to show interest in the person or object that experiences an action. And number 2, to talk about needs and wants. Okay. And as you can notice, this is a very interesting story about shoes, okay? And we're gonna be using that information in our presentation today. Let's start with passive voice. When do we use the passive voice? Remember that we have different uses. The first one, when we want to give more importance to the object rather than the subject. We want to emphasize the object or the person affected by the action. Number 2, when time is not important. Number 3, when the subject is not relevant or we just don't know it. And number 3, when we describe scientific processes. Okay, let me give you a few examples. In this chart, I'm showing you active voice and passive voice. How do you differentiate those two tenses or those two forms? Okay, remember that we have been learning basically everything we have been learning has been in active voice. Okay, present, past, future form, continuous, perfect, modal auxiliaries, everything it's in active voice. So you will notice an example like this. Adolf Dassler created Adidas shoes in 1924, taking the verb in past simple, you see, created. So we are emphasizing the doer of the action, that is Mr. Dassler, right? But what if we wanted to emphasize a different part in the sentence? What if we wanted to emphasize the shoes, for example? In this particular case, we will be using passive voice. Remember that in passive voice, the emphasis goes in the object affected by the subject or doer of the action. So this time we'll be talking about Adidas shoes were created by Adolf Dassler in 1924. If you notice, we pretty much rearranged the order of the elements in the sentence. In this particular case, we used the verb to be plus a verb in past participle. Remember that here we are describing and reviewing passive voice in the past tense. So if you notice in this example, how to do the transformation, you'll see the process step by step. At the top of the chart, I'm showing you active voice. Mr. Dassler created Adidas in 1924. How do we change it to passive? Step 1, take the object and put it as a subject. Adidas shoes. Step 2, add the verb to be and change the verb to past participle. You definitely need those irregular forms again in the third column of irregular verbs, past participle. Were created. Step 3, well, if you want, add the agent or doer preceded by the preposition by. Finally, you'll have it as Adidas shoes were created by Adolf Dassler, that is commonly known as Adi. Okay, so this is how you create the passive voice in the past tense using was or were plus the past participle, that in this particular case is regular form, ended in ed, right? Now, look at these infographics. What do you know about Adidas? Okay, well, I'm sure you are very familiar with the logo and everything, but did you know that Adolf started this company with the name of the Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory in 1924? Or did you know that these two brothers, as you saw in the video, they broke apart in 1949? Hey, what about sales? Did you know that they actually sell more than 400 million shoes every year? Wow, I want you to stop the video for a minute and try to study these infographics with lots of interesting facts about one of the most popular and successful shoe brands in the world. Okay, now let me talk about environmental institutions and organizations. Have you heard about Parley for the Oceans? Well, let me tell you. This is actually Adidas joined with a different company to produce shoes with recycled materials. So if you notice this shoe over here at the bottom left corner of the screen, you wouldn't believe it, but it's made of plastic trash. Okay, and it's plastic trash that has been collected from remote beaches and coastal communities in different parts of the world. Okay, if you visit this blog over here, I will be showing you the type of work they do. So what they do pretty much is that they recycle all this trash from the beach, and then they create beautiful materials for shoes and even for clothing. You know, of course, those materials go under a lot of processes, right? So they can actually reuse all these particles and create awesome garments. You know, if you notice on this website, you can actually buy it online. They sell all types of shirts, sneakers, and they actually sell also for both men and women, and for any sports. Like if you play soccer, you can buy any of these t-shirts. But if you guys play tennis, for example, you can also buy shirts, skirts, or jackets. And you wouldn't believe it, but these are all made out of trash, you know, trash materials recycled. So that's actually very cool. Okay, let me go back to the presentation, since now we have learned a little bit about what Adidas does. Okay, now let's practice our passive voice. So here I'm giving you 5 different forms, actually 4 different sentences in active form. I want you to think about how you would change it into passive. Like Christopher Columbus discovered America. How would you change it into passive voice? I recommend you to stop the video for a minute. I want you to do the exercise on your own before I show you the answers. Remember that for the first one, you should emphasize America. And you should be using the past of the verb to be was before adding that main verb. Okay? Do you have it ready? Now, let me show you the answers. How is that passive voice for the first one? Answers are here. Well, America was discovered by Christopher Columbus. You know, this Christopher Columbus is now on a second position, actually at the end of the sentence, with the preposition by. And we emphasize America. We emphasize the object here. I want you to take the time to complete your practice, our video check-in as usual. And if you want further information, you can check these references at the end. Okay? This is all for now, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Universidad Santo Tomás, institución vigilada por el Ministerio de Educación Nacional.